So Glenn, today I wanted to ask you a question
Okay.
that always has been on my mind. When and how did you get started about rewarding for mistake at SnapCab?
It was at the very early stages of doing our SnapCab product. So it was in the late 90s. It was in the late 90s, and we were going from being a custom cabinet making shop into like a production shop, more like a factory. And we had systems and processes to follow to get the product made.
Okay.
This one day we were making an elevator that was being shipped to Mexico, and it was supposed to have pad buttons at the top of the paneling.
Yeah.
The worker who was working on it didn't do the last quality check of laying the panels out and making sure you could see, okay, there's the toe, bottom, here are the middle panels, here's the handrail, and here's the pad buttons at the top. And we lay them out on a table, even though it goes into the elevator vertically. He didn't do that. He saved time, put it in the crate, shipped it to Mexico. Turned out he put the pad buttons on one of the middle panels, not the top panel. So the whole job had to be remade. And when I found out about it, I went out to the workers, and I remember thinking this very clearly, I think it'd be a good idea if I yelled at them. Because that way, by punishing them, by yelling, they'll remember to do it right the next time. So I yelled at them, how can you do this? Look at all the amount it costs, inconvenience to our customers, you skipped the process. Then I got in my car to go to the hardware store to get something. And one of the workers called me on the cell phone and said, hey, Bob, he just quit. He just got in his car and he's leaving. And I'm like, oh no, Bob's my best guy. I had to call him up, got him back to work for us, but that was not a good experience. And I didn't feel good about it. He didn't feel good about it. It wasn't great.
So you thought you were correcting him and he's going to learn from it and not repeat the mistake.
That's right.
Okay.
So I'd already learned about turnbacks, and so I was yelling at him because of the turnback. The reward part came because I was learning that people are actually led by what they love to do. And what makes life terrible for people is fear. Okay. I grew up in school having fear of getting bad grades, which I always got. So I always was in fear in school. I hated school. And now I'm recreating that situation for my own workers. I'm like, why would I do that? And if people are led by what they love, then people like being acknowledged and appreciated. So a couple months later, Bob made an elevator ceiling and shipped it to a job in Hawaii, and it turned out that he put the wrong material on the ceiling, so the customer wanted it replaced. This time I went over it with Bob and I said, hey Bob, this is a really good mistake because we don't want to have this happen again, and by having the mistake it shows there's something weak in our system. Can you help me figure out how we can not have this happen again? And he came up with a checklist and a process for checking the ceilings every time, and that hasn't really happened again. So I sent Bob and his wife to Hawaii with a ceiling, and Bob spent the first day repairing the ceiling, and then they were there for the entire week with his wife, all expense paid trip in Hawaii. And what do you think was more motivating for Bob? Being yelled at for a job in Mexico, or being sent to Hawaii, all expense paid trip with your wife?
Definitely the second one.
Yeah.
What you got from Bob, he created a system so that we don't repeat the mistake again.
That's right.
Right? And on top of that, he was rewarded with a vacation with his wife.
Right.
So does that mean, Glenn, everyone gets a trip when they make a mistake?
Well, of course not. But I think the spirit is there, and I think he got the message. I appreciated him. And people that love their job and care for the people that they're working with are really productive people. They're happy and they're productive. And now we have the system of giving tickets every time somebody puts down a mistake on the Gemba board. We've come up with a way to track and reward mistakes. And then we also create time for people to improve our system.
So it's a continuous improvement process.
That's right.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.